I'm Drew Coles.
I'm Erin Coles.
And this is Met Player Monday. Today we're going to be talking about considerations if you're planning to get married outside in the fall.
We already shared a Met Player Monday about considerations for an outdoor wedding in this summer. But since we're moving into the fall, we wanted to share some tips for fall weddings as well.
Our fall couples are currently considering backup plans due to restrictions put in place by local governments to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Some of those plans include downsizing their wedding guest list.
And some of those plans include shifting to an outdoor tinted wedding instead of an indoor wedding.
So if this is something you're considering, we're here to offer some advice.
And just like in our summer tinted wedding video, although this information will be especially helpful to any couples affected by COVID-19, this advice will be helpful to all couples choosing to get married outdoors in the fall.
Drew and I got married in October because we love so much about that time of year.
The cool, crisp fall air,
The changing leaves.
and the earlier sunset, which makes for an earlier start to the party atmosphere.
But planning a fall wedding can also bring its own set of challenges.
To start, the weather is very unpredictable. It could be hot like a summer day or cold like a winter day.
Fall is hurricane season in North America, so you might even run into a windy and rainy day.
And we're not here to scare you, we're here to prepare you.
So our suggestion is to plan for just about any type of weather.
One of the best decisions you can make right off the bat is to get a tent that has pull-down sides. That way, if it's a beautiful day, you can leave the sides open and let the air flow through the tent.
But if it happens to be a little too hot, a little too cold, or rainy, you can pull down some or all of the sides.
We'd also suggest talking to your rental company to see how close to your wedding you can confirm the rental of heating or air conditioning units or fans.
Since it can be hard to know exactly what the weather will look like weeks in advance, having a little flexibility on what you can rent and when is really helpful.
Now, let's talk about rain again.
We've seen some really awesome tent designs that made for a much easier time in the rain.
One time, we played a wedding where the tent was set on top of a brick patio. Because of the hard surface throughout the tent, it was easier for people to walk around and dance. It also meant that the ground didn't get soggy when it started raining.
Another time, we played a wedding where the tent was set up on the grass, but the couple had rented a floor to cover most of the ground under the tent. It didn't end up raining that day, but it was a helpful thing to have, just in case.
We've also played a tented wedding where the tent was set up on top of a hill. The only hard surface throughout the tent was a dance floor and the stage that we were set up on. But because we were set up on the top of a hill and not in a valley, the rain ran away from the tent rather than toward it.
Since we may get the remnants of a hurricane in the fall, it's a safe bet to plan out your tent design assuming there will be rain, then do a little happy dance if there isn't.
Another consideration is power. It's important to know where the power to the tent is coming from and how much of it will be available.
As we discussed in our last video about outdoor tented weddings, most tents need enough power to support lighting within the tent, the food service truck, the band or DJ, fans or air conditioning units, and other vendors like the photo booth or a popcorn station, for example.
So if you choose to host your wedding outdoors, check with your venue or the property to ask where the power will be coming from.
If your venue or the property doesn't supply power, you'll need to rent a generator.
And the best way to find out how large of a generator you will need is to ask each vendor how much power they need to run their equipment. Share that information with the rental company, and they'll get you set up with a generator of the right size.
And we'd suggest getting slightly more power than you need if possible. That way you won't run into any issues if something ends up taking more power than expected for whatever reason.
And last but not least, make a plan for where the ceremony, cocktail hour, and reception will take place.
If you're doing all events on site, you may need to consider getting a couple of tents so that you can move guests from one area to another.
For example, if you hold your ceremony in the main reception tent, you'll likely need to get a second tent so that your guests can move to the cocktail hour when the main tent is being flipped for the reception.
If your venue happens to have an outdoor patio space, preferably with some type of awning, this is also a great option for either the ceremony or cocktail hour.
For example, you could hold your ceremony under the outdoor patio space, then move your guests into the main tent for cocktails and reception.
Or similar to the earlier idea, you can hold your ceremony and reception in the main tent and have your guests enjoy cocktails on the patio while the tent is flipped.
And if the weather is nice, you can have your ceremony completely outdoors in a separate area of the property. Host your cocktail hour outside of the tent, and then hold your reception inside of the tent.
Whatever you choose, just remember to consider that fall weather in the Northeast can be just about anything. So as long as you have a covered area available for ceremony, cocktail hour, and reception if you need it, you're good to go.
We hope this has been helpful, and remember, we're always here in case you have any questions or simply want to run something by us. At the end of the day, we're here to support you in making musical memories. We made it through. Not bad, right?
Yeah. It's
It's
just,
the pop socket. I'm messing around. It's not like it. You wouldn't give a pop socket for anything.
no, I love the pop socket.
That you do.
Who else loves pop sockets? I love them.
I think they're great. I just don't want to become dependent on a pop socket like you are.
I sort of am, but
What was that?
you said I have an auto.
I know what you said. I don't understand why you said it like that. Where do you think the Pop Socket headquarters is located? It's got to be in
California.
LA. Yeah. It's not a New York thing.
Yeah, somewhere in California. I don't know where.
That is nice. That's fresh.
It's really
Condols.
Nice. Oh my god, condols.
What's over there?
Let's
Condols.
get some condols. Who is old enough to know that?
Here's one clue: shoes. That's the end of the. That's the end of the total list of clues, though.
Yeah, that's all the clue you get.
That tent. That's all the clues there are, I think. That's it.
All the clue. Not all the clues, all the clue.
All the clue.
You get.
Shoes. Let's get some shoes. So you got
It's awning.
awning.
Where's my tent?
Stop it! I'm gonna have to go back.